ciao e benvenuto. Hello and welcome inside the Milano Santa Giulia Arena. It's para ice hockey time at the Paralympic Winter Games, Milano 2026. Rob Snook gearing up to call this Pool B match between Canada and Japan. The Canadians, perennial contenders. Japan had moments of brilliance in their opener in this tournament, took an early lead, hung in until the very end, only to lose a heartbreaker 3-2 against Team Czechia. Japan relied heavily on a Paralympic rookie. Itsuki Ito scored a goal, assisted on another. Canadians, silver at last year's World Championships, gold the year before, silver medalists at the Paralympic Winter Games 4 years ago in Beijing, looking to improve at this tournament to 2 wins and no losses. And this should be a fascinating affair. The head coach of Team Japan is Nakakita Kojin. He played hockey in Canada growing up in Saskatchewan at Notre Dame. Went on to play in San Diego, has lots of North American experience. One of his assistant coaches is the great Canadian Brad Bowden. That is around the stadium, won't see him on the bench. There is your referee for the game from Czechia, Jan Benek. The linespersons are Tibor Fazekas and Brendan Lewis. Captains of the two teams, you just saw them exchange pleasantries. Canadian captain, of course, is Tyler McGregor, well known around para ice hockey circles. And Japan's captain is Masaharu Kumagai, also well known, and had 6 points at the B-Pool World Championships last year. Japan's lineup, they have changed things up a little bit. Yes, they have, just a little bit. This is Ito on the first line with Ukai and Nitsu. Nitsu scored, Ito scored. So they put the 2 goal scorers in the first game. Nakakita Kojin speaks absolutely perfect English. We had a chance to catch up with him just a few days ago. And he's going to try to get his team to play at the best of their level. They began the tournament, didn't get a point, but scored twice in their game against Czechia. Canadians, meanwhile, it was an 8-0 romp over Slovakia to begin. They are very balanced on attack. They have also done a little bit of changing. You see Zach Lavin wearing number 7 there on the defense. He was playing forward in the opening game. Kovacevic has entered into the lineup, and Lelev has also come into the lineup, so 2 of the 4 defensemen are different. Canadians are very deep. Under head coach Boris Ravelka, whose assistant is former Canadian national team player Steve Arsenault. Adam Kingsmill is going to get the start in the Canadian net. As you see Tyler McGregor gearing up, ready to go. McGregor, so much success in his career. He has won 3 World Championship gold medals. One of the 3 players on Team Japan who won the silver medal in Vancouver 2010. There he is, Adam Kingsmill, the starter in the gold medal game at the last 2 World Championships. He's going to get the start in this one, the 26-year-old from Smithers, BC.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And it's time to drop the puck. Canada in white and Japan in black. This is a Pool B match in Milano Cortina. And Hickey, McGregor both attacking. Japan dumps the puck down the ice. Ito racing after it. Kingsmill plays it up the boards for Hickey. Dances right in front of his own net. Here's a chance, and another chance. Nitsu was right there. He scored the opener for Japan in the tournament, and he almost got gifted another one there, as Hickey went dangerously in front and banged into his own goaltender. But here's McGregor coming back the other way. Tyler McGregor, will he shoot with the left? No, he'll shoot with the right, and he'll score with the right. A rocket wrist shot from the captain averted some serious danger, and Canada is on the scoreboard. And it is Captain Canada who gets the goal. His second of the tournament. What a laser beam that is. Jams on the brakes. You think he might try to turn the corner and go on the left stick. Instead, he cuts back and rips one right. Goaltender getting up as high as he could. Horry. But boy, it was that play at the other end of the ice, and how did that stay out of the net? That is the question. Canadians back on offense again. Boyle with it. He can really shoot the puck. Won't shoot from here, though. He'll loft it in with the left stick. So the Canadians scoring just seconds into the opening period. And they're looking for more. James Dunn along the boards. He's going to let it go back for Lavin, playing a shift. His first shift of this tournament on defense. Rob Armstrong goes in after it. Armstrong does well to protect the puck, still has it in behind. He jams on the brakes, little touch pass for Boyle, didn't quite work. He's gonna come back to Armstrong again. Now Boyle to the front. No path there for him. And one of the Japanese players has lost his stick. Lavin goes in and wreaks some havoc in the corner. Here's a chance out front. Nice save by Horry on James Dunn. And Japan's gonna push it out to center ice. Lavin goes back, quick pass to Boyle. He deals it up for Dunn. It's out of his reach, and he was on his own side of center. So that is going to be an icing call against Canada. But they scored just 39 seconds into the game. Here's the goal. Wow, did we ever get that up in a hurry? In a sort of muted celebration, I'm just going to say, on the Canadian bench. A little bit muted, maybe. Maybe that's just me. Here's Lavin. Up the boards for Dunn. Banks it ahead, too far for Boyle. This might go for icing as well. It does. So the two linespersons, Fazekas and Lewis, have been kept busy here, scooting up and down the ice. Canadians unable to make a change. Mazzolino's going to take this face-off. Out here with Boyle and Dunn right now. They'll go up against Ukai. Ukai did some fine work in Japan's first game, set up a goal. Sudo comes in off the point for Japan. They battle for it in the corner. Dunn's gonna get it to the blue line. Not sure he's gonna get it out though. Good work by Ukai. Just see all the down low work that has to happen there. Sudo racing back. Cozzolino might beat him to it. And a good reaction by Sudo just to get his stick and knock it away from Cozzolino. A bit slow to get back in the action. It is launched in by Ishikawa Hyundai. Adam Dixon with the puck. He finds Kovacevic. Sudo. Good collision there. With Lele, here's a puck in front of the net. Westlake was lurking right there all by himself, but it was too hot to handle. Comes back to the blue line. Canadians organizing from here. Halbert can shoot it. Scored a goal from similar range. Canada's first game. Here's Dixon. Ito is lurking, and the young forward for Japan will do that. See him on your screen there. The ice in the benches as well. We don't always get that para ice hockey. I think the players really like it. They can really fly both in and out of the benches. Jacobs Webb on the face-off, wins the draw. Coming in off the point is Lavin. He tries to filter it through to Jacob's Webb, and it's on net, the loose puck, and they score! And it's McGregor with his second of the game. And again, it was kind of a play that looked like it was maybe going to break up, and then next thing you know, McGregor finds a way to jam in his second of the game, his third of the tournament. And speaking of a muted celebration, I don't think a lot of people knew about this one going in. There you see it, McGregor, the second effort, kind of hiding the puck with his own sled. Jacob's Webb should get an assist on this one. Goaltender Horry had a chance to clear it, fanned on it, and really nice second effort there. At 3:45, Canada scores twice in just over 3 minutes. After surviving an early scare, one that barely stayed out. Here they come again, looking for more. Boyle. Where is it? It's in just outside the crease. Japan trying to clear it. Cozzolino in tight quarters. Now it's worked free by Boyle. That's steered aside by Horry. James Dunn with a nice play to free it up for Boyle. Throws it across the boards, and it's going to come all the way back and out to center. Lavin goes back for it, curls, gets over center, launches it right back in again. 4.5 minutes gone by, opening period. 2-0 Canada leads already. They have played 3 times, these two teams, at the Paralympic Winter Games before, and Japan has won 2 of those games. And only 1 win against Japan in Paralympic history. The biggest upset, of course, was the semifinal in Vancouver 2010, when Japan went on to take the silver medal. Liam Hickey throwing his weight around. Only Canadian player from Newfoundland and Labrador. Here's Halbert, and into the net goes Jacob's Webb. The net somehow stays on its mooring. And the puck comes back to the blue line. Hickey picks it up, wheeling in with speed. Still has it. Hickey looking. Pass! There's a chance on the redirect by Jacob's Webb. It's going to come back to the blue line. Albert, penalty coming here. And it is going to be a teeing call against Japan, I believe. Indeed it is. It's against Japan's Kumagai, their captain. Canada heading to the power play.
The games are not just sports and competitions and contests. The games are so much more.
Canada moving the puck around the outside. Here's Dunn, here's Hickey, blocked in front. He'll get another chance to set it up. Works it back to McGregor. 2 goals in the game already for the Canadian captain. Here's Cozzolino. Hickey. McGregor, left stick, right stick, shot on Horry, rebound loose, side of the net. Dunn fishes it out and sends it back up the boards. But a nice job by Japan to clear it. Here's Ito. Canadians, though, get back in a hurry and take it away from Ito, and he has just drawn a penalty. It's going to be a tripping call as Ito was kind of upended by Adam Dixon. And we're going to play some 4-on-4 hockey. Faceoff will come all the way back down in front of Adam Kingsmill. Let's take a look at this play. Kind of keeps the stick on the ice as he kind of upends the skate blade of Ito. 4-on-4. Cozzolino is out for Canada. He's dangerous. But it is Japan looking the more dangerous here. Ito played 43 minutes in Japan's opening game of the tournament, scored a goal and had an assist against Czechia. Here's Zach Lavin with the puck. Let's see if the Canadians can spread it out a little bit. Lavin played a game at forward, now playing a game at defense in this tournament. Now still in with speed. Lavin with a shot, steered aside by Hori. Japan's going to get a chance to clear it. Ito gets knocked off stride and spun around. It'll be pushed out to center by Ishikawa. Lavin goes back for it. He'll drop it off for Jacobs Webb. He'll work it cross ice for Cozzolino. Oh, what a nice move by Cozzolino in front of the net for Jacobs Webb. Great looking setup. In fact, that was Armstrong. He was busting in, the blue liner. Little toe drag, we call that. You're new to the para ice hockey game, and Cozzolino converts on his own with the left hand. He was playmaker earlier, he's finisher here. Dominic Cozzolino, who's named the best forward at the 2024 World Championships. And he snipes his second goal of the tournament. He does it with his left hand on the glove side of Hori. Well, it's, I think, a lot of that work that Cozzolino had done earlier as the playmaker that has everybody thinking he's going to pass it. No. He calls his own number. And that was the right choice. 3-0 Canada, halfway through the opening period of play, this Pool B match at Milano Santa Giulia Arena. Canada back in its own zone. It's going to be launched down the ice because now, well, actually, that puck was shot and before the penalty had expired, so Canada is now shorthanded, but they iced the puck just before they became shorthanded. It might actually be the center ice line that is the marker at the moment. It had to go across center before the penalty had expired. 10 shots to 2 for Canada, 3 goals to none for Canada. Still 39 seconds after the penalty to Adam Dixon. A player who knows about converting from one position to another. Former award-winning defenseman, and now playing forward for Canada. Here's Armstrong. He'll bank it off the boards and down the ice. McGregor here on the penalty kill, looking for a hat trick, possibly, but he gets slammed into by Ukai. Saucers a pass back to Halbert. Into the corner for McGregor. Dancing with it, stick handling, turning, twisting. Deals it off for Hickey. Liam Hickey cuts to the net. He just missed the corner. It looked like he had Hori beaten. Armstrong keeping it in. Teams are back to full and even strength. And another penalty coming. Sudo upends Hickey. And we're getting an interference call against Japan. So 3 penalties already. That's the earliest we've had that many. Sudo Satoru, one of the 3 silver medalists from the Vancouver Games 16 years ago for Japan. A widely veteran. This power play is going to get a chance to go back to work. First goal for Canada 39 seconds in was McGregor from Jacobs Webb and Albert. 3 minutes after that, McGregor scored again. Jacobs Webb assisting, and then this time it was Lavin who picks up the second assist. And Dominic Cozzolino came while the teams were playing 4-on-4, and Rob Armstrong picks up the only assist. So that's where we stand. 3-0 Canada. 6:22 to go, period number 1. Canadians did win the World Championship gold medal 2 years ago in Calgary. Upset, it's considered an upset against the U.S. USA has been dominant and has won 4 straight gold medals. Canadians want to change that at this tournament. Here's Halbert. There's a little bit of room. His pass, his tip. Anton Jacobs-Webb. Here's another chance by Boyle. He rocketed that, but Corey does well to get in the way of it. Boyle slides it in for Westlake. Comes back to the blue line for Halbert. Shot is blocked by Morisaki. He's going to send it down the ice. Canada still with lots of time to work on this power play. Armstrong back behind his net. And now moving with speed. Jacobs-Webb's going to pick up the puck, drop back. Armstrong kind of ran into some heavy traffic and lost the handle. Westlake getting some power play time here, drops it off. Halbert has dropped off his stick. He's gonna reel back for it. Canadians, here they come on offense with Hickey busting in. Gonna come to the blue line for Dixon. Out of the penalty box, and now ready to jump on the power play. Here's Liam Hickey cutting to the middle. Nice move, there's a shot. Rebound comes back. And we've got a whistle. And they're going to bring the face-off outside the zone. They're going to say the Canadian player voluntarily went into the crease and interfered with the goaltender. Not a penalty, but it's a whistle, and that's a big break for Japan. Hori Wataru is the goaltender for Japan. He's been a busy guy. 13 shots already, 13-2. Here's Hickey. Look at this talent and just skill level. He's trying to slip that through the 5-hole maybe. Under 5 minutes to play in the period. Less than 30 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Liam Hickey backtracking in his own zone. Drops it off for Tyler McGregor. Back to Hickey on the left wing. Cozzolino's out there as well. Now McGregor. He's got a bit of room, tries a pass in front. That was intercepted. Cozzolino's gonna go get this. Nice move. Still has it. Hides it under his sled. Drops it off into the corner. Here's McGregor. Here's Dixon. Snaps it off the side of the net. Cozzolino comes in to pick up the loose change. Slides it back to Dixon. To the blue line for Hickey. His shot is blocked. Gets it back. Does he? No. Out to center. Here's Ito, but it hit him in the back of the skate. Otherwise, he might have been off to the races. Inside of 4 minutes to play now. Teams are back to full strength. Canadians already leading by 3, though. Dunn drops it off for Cozzolino. Deals it back for James Dunn. He lets it go to Boyle. Here it goes in front. Canadians really like to use that defender racing into the net. That was Halbert, who then works it back for Boyle. That dropped stick might be causing some trouble out there. Japan trying to relieve some pressure here, but they can't get it out. Had a chance and couldn't do it. Here's Cozzolino. Curls back with the puck. Still wants to shoot, and he does and scores! Hori Wataru might have knocked it in his own net. But Dominic Cozzolino has his second of the game. Cozzolino, it's almost like a last resort here. Okay, I'm just going to fire this one. See if we can get a better look at what Hori does with his stick. Here's the shot. Well, that puck's going wide. That is going wide of the net, but it hits the heel of the stick of Hori. And unfortunately for Team Japan, that ends up in the back of the net. 11:46, the time of the goal. Starts with 2 goals from McGregor, then 2 goals from Cozzolino. And the Canadians are off and running here in their second game of the Para Ice Hockey Tournament in Milano Cortina. Here's Hickey. In for Jacobs. Webb with a shot. Corey to save. Rebound. Bounces in front. Japan's going to pick it up and flick it out to center. Nelev back for it, playing in his first game ever at the Paralympic Winter Games. McGregor, nice little feed for Jacobs. Webb cutting in. There's a pass. They score! Albert goes to the net. Again, the speed of the Canadian defense. Racing, charging to the net, and getting rewarded. Halbert's second of the tournament, proving he can do it from long range and he can do it from short range. That is the 3rd assist already for Anton Jacobs-Webb. See, he's not really thinking about shooting on that play. He really wants to set up Albert. .12:21 the time of the goal. Albert from Jacobs, Webb, and McGregor. The Canadian offense has really come to play in this one. Lavin lifts it out to center. Ito tracks it down. Floats it back in. Kingsmill thinks about chasing it, then leaves it for Lavin. Lavin's got some room. He's going to take it if they give it to him. Gets across center. And 2 Japanese players collide. They come up with a puck, though, for their efforts. Somewhere in that skirmish, there is a puck underneath Matsushita. Now it's fished out, and here comes Lavin. Lavin's got a man heading to the front. That was Westlake. He couldn't get it to him. And Armstrong's going to race back at his own blue line and beat Ito to the puck. Dixon knocks it into the Japanese zone. 90 seconds to play, opening period, 5-0, Canada leads. Another penalty is coming here. I think it's going to be an elbowing. No, it's a roughing call. Well, pick your poison, though, when you get to that. Japanese penalty box door opening up again. It is a roughing call. And that was Masahiro. Pretty effective game in the opener for head coach Nakahita Kojin. So it has been an up and down kind of run for Team Japan in recent years. Yes, they got that silver medal back in Vancouver in 2010, but had to go back down to the B Pool World Championships, and wound up winning the B Pool Worlds back in 2023, and then this past year again we're at the B Pool World Championships, got the silver medal. Played in the Paralympic qualifying tournament, the last chance qualifier. They had to beat Norway in their last opportunity, as we've seen McGregor in a heck of a collision. Japan had to beat Norway, and they did, and it was a trouncing that put them in the Paralympic tournament. Canada with Hickey, overskates it, Cozzolino goes to get it. Canada on the power play. McGregor takes the pass, top of the circle, throws it in front, tipped by Dixon right on Cody, and he's gonna hold on. Cody had 2 shutouts at the B-Pool World Championships last year, had a .935 save percentage. As we see McGregor looking, I think he's shooting and looking for a tip all at the same time. Cozzolino wins the draw. Now onto the stick of Liam Hickey. Cuts to the middle. Deals a pass for Dixon. He scores! Adam Dixon, his first goal of the tournament for the 36-year-old, five-time Paralympian. An absolute rocket. He was the leading scorer at the Sochi Games back in 2014. He can put the biscuit in the basket, and he does it right here. But what about the setup from Liam Hickey? He knows, everyone knows that he can shoot the puck. But when he plays playmaker, he makes himself that much more dangerous, and that'll get everybody dancing. That is the thing of beauty, the dance and the goal. Canada started their scoring just 39 seconds into this period, and they have been relentless. They have only allowed 2 shots on goal. They got in a little danger in the opening seconds, but they managed to avoid a goal against. Lelev drops it off for Kovacevic. Makes the pass for Westlake, in front for Dixon. All he can do is tap it into the corner. And the final 45 seconds or so here in this opening period. Here's Greg Westlake, 6-time Paralympian, drops it back for Dixon, and he rips that one wide. Going to be kept in by Lelev. Japan will finally take the opportunity to clear the zone. Less than half a minute to go in the period. Albert, already a goal in the game. He's got wheels. Smart play to dump it in by Dixon to keep his player onside on the play. Westlake, good collision there with Ukai. Fished off the boards and sent down the ice. One of the Canadian players there has lost his stick. That was Lelev. He's going to have to head back in his own zone, but that'll do it for the opening period. 2 for McGregor, 2 for Cozzolino. Albert and Dixon add to the tally. It is 6-0 Canada over Japan after 1 period of play in Milano Cortina 2026. Well, it really is amazing. These teams have only met 3 times in Paralympic history, with Japan winning 2 of the 3, because this was all Canada. Well, you notice the McGregors off the top, but look at Jacob's Webb. That name on there, 1, 2, 3 times, 3 assists for Anton Jacobs Webb, who is nearing the 100 games played for Team Canada. Japanese fans hope they have something more to cheer about before this one is all said and done. These 2 teams are part of Pool B, along with Czechia and Slovakia. Lots of different forms of Canadian jerseys from years past, current and years past. 22 the shots on goal. Canada scores once on 3 power plays, kills off the only penalty they took. And Japan does dominate on the face-offs, at least better than half, just about 56%. So there's something to work on if you're Canadian head coach Boris Rybelka. But your team leads it comfortably after 1 period of play. 6-0 is where it sits. Here's Tyler McGregor's goal. The first of 2 that came just 3 minutes apart. It's an individual skill there, as he's got everybody thinking he's going to use his speed to the outside. And now he's Johnny on the spot on this play. A good second effort. Gave the Canadians a 2-0 lead early on. Well, you knew that Canada was going to come in with lots of firepower. Got a lot of the big names, experienced players who have a heap of Paralympic games played. Look how, just see, that's kind of dangerous down there for the goaltender as he sprawls down. And a little bit susceptible to those high shots, especially when you've got talented players like McGregor and Cozzolino just busting in on top of you. This one, Cozzolino maybe got a bit of a break. The goaltender had to go off the heel of his stick, and you could see him stare at the heavens. That made it 4-0 Canada. Worth a second look, that one. It really was a dominant opening period for the men of the Maple Leaf, finding all kinds of different ways to get after it. And again, a high shot. Dixon just ripping it. His first of the tournament. But he has been doing this for a decade and a half or so. He is one talented player amongst the field of many. It's 6-0 Canada after one period of play. second period is imminent in this game between Team Japan and Team Canada at the Milano Santa Giulia Ice Hockey Arena. Rob Snook with the call. Here we go, second period action. Let's take a look back first, though, at the first. McGregor, just seconds after Canada had avoided a catastrophe in their own zone, McGregor comes down the ice and scores the first of 6 for his team. He had 2, Cozzolino had 2, Halbert, and then Dixon, all adding to the tally for Team Canada. Anton Jacobs-Webb, 3 assists in that opening period. 4 years ago in Beijing, Canadians were the silver medalists, my mistake, against Canada against USA in the final. Japan did not qualify for those games. Did qualify in Pyeongchang in 2018 when Canada also was a silver medalist against the US. Greg Westlake knows all about that. He and Adam Dixon were both on those teams. Dixon, in fact, was the best defenseman, named the best defenseman at the Pyeongchang tournament in 2018. Murasaki Amu, one of the youngest players on this Japanese team. We haven't had a chance to see the very best yet of Ito Itsuki. He had 10 points at the B-Pool World Championships last year. Where's the number 10? You'll see him out there in front of Hori Wataru. And here we go, second period action. Canada in the white jerseys, Japan in black. Canadians opening up a 6-0 lead in the first period. The teams are at full and even strength. Canada out shooting Japan. They actually updated those numbers 20-2 in that opening period. Here's Lelev playing in his first ever Paralympic game. It's going to be gobbled up by Nasu. He'll get it ahead for Ito. Speedster gets it down the ice, but he didn't get across center. This is going to be an icing call against Japan. Canadians trying to relive their last experience when they played at the Paralympic Games in Italy. That was back in 2006 in Torino when they won the gold medal, beating Norway in the gold medal game. Norway not at this tournament, not qualifying because they were knocked out by Japan. Dixon wins the face-off, and he tried to send it back for Halbert. He's going to have to backtrack in his own zone. Calgary, Alberta's Halbert, one of 2 players from the province of Alberta on Team Canada. Kovacevic, Halbert now in to help out in the corner. 4 players all battling right there in front of the Paralympic Agitos. Murasaki races after it. He's going to bank it ahead. Good job by Lelev to stay in front of it, but good second effort. And out it comes to center ice. Ito one-on-one against Halbert. Oh, he just caught him on the shoulder. He had him lined up, and Ito does well to just get nipped on that play. Here comes Westlake, pushes the puck just across the blue line. Dixon waits for help. Adam Dixon slides a pass back, finds the stick of Halbert. Good moves at the blue line. Nice feed for Lavin. He tried to thread the needle to work it to the middle of the ice. Cozzolino extricating himself from the crease. He's got a couple of goals in the game. It's going to slide out to center past Rob Armstrong, and James Dunn's got the puck. Dunn thinks about dropping it off, now does for Armstrong. His pass deflects into the Japan zone. Second game of a 3-game round robin for both of these teams. Japan's goaltender Hori shovels the puck back behind his net. Ukai goes to get it. He'll bank it off the boards and down the ice. Sure it's going to make it. It might well make it. Yes, it will. For an icing. It felt like somebody should have been out there sweeping that. These are the first Paralympic Games that Canada has played without a certain Billy Bridges in the lineup since Nagano in 1998. One of the great players in Paralympic para-ice hockey history. He's actually working in Canadian television at these games. Here's Dunn with a shot, snaps a good, solid lefty shot that Billy Bridges might be proud of. Here's Cozzolino. Steers it back into the corner for Boyle. Back up to the blue line. But a slight error there by Armstrong allows Japan to race it to center. Ito decides he's going to go the other way, doesn't get across center again. And no icing, though, because the goaltender goes back to play it. Dominic Cozzolino. Stick handling in front of his own net. Works into pretty open ice, though. Gets it ahead. Now onto the stick of Lavin. Dropped off for Boyle. He gets a wicked wrist shot away. Didn't miss by a whole lot, but did he ever let it go? Here's Ukai, and he's going to send this down the ice. This will be an icing call. Just about 4.5 minutes. Check that, just about 3.5 minutes gone by here in the second period. And so far, this period, it's been pretty even, but it was all Canada in the first, beginning just 39 seconds in. Here's Lelev, long wrist shot from the point that might have even been deflected on the way to Hori Wataru. He does a nice job reeling that one in. Yeah, I do feel like it hit, maybe not a stick, but maybe an arm of the Japanese player on the way. They're gonna get a chance to make a line change. It's on Jacob's Webb. Tyler McGregor. Liam Hickey out on the ice, Canada's top line. Comes back to the point for Lelev. Here's Jacob's Webb, 3 assists in the game already for him. He gets the return pass from Hickey, now snaps the left-hander just wide of the net. Lelev pinching in from the point. Does well to avoid a hit. Works the pass in for McGregor. He just about found the hat trick. He'll send it back to Hickey at the blue line. Dishes it off for McGregor. Back to Hickey. Hickey falling, pushes it, no free for Halbert. He's got a bit of room, and he rings it off the post. And on the way out, it hits the post, and then off the top of the glass, I think it hits the netting. Great chemistry between Liam Hickey and Tyler McGregor. They really know where each other is heading. We've got players on the Canadian roster who have all won at least one World Championship gold medal. Beat the US in Calgary at the tournament in 2024. We've got Greg Westlake, who's won 3. Tyler McGregor has won 3. And Adam Dixon, in fact, has won 4 World Championship gold medals, going way back. As soon as I say that, I'm double-checking my facts on that, but I do think that is correct. gold medalists in 24, in 2017, in 2013, and in 2008. And I think one more going back a little before that time frame. Face-off won by Japan. They've been hemmed in their own zone for much of the period. Haven't given up a goal yet. Nice little spinning play by Hickey. Former Paralympic wheelchair basketball player, played in Rio in 2016. Here's Halbert. Here's McGregor. By the way, he was playing both sports already at that time. He can play them all. Here's Lelev dancing into the left wing corner. He'll drop it back to McGregor. Canada's got the cycle working here. McGregor in behind the net. Up top for Lelev. Pushes it across for Halbert. He's got a bit of room, and he snaps one that went just wide of the net. Halbert in a collision along the boards. Defenseman back in behind the net. That means he's being covered for by McGregor and Lavin. McGregor with a nice move. Nice pass. There's Hickey, and he fires it off maybe the side of the net. Goaltender might have got a piece of it. Canada's going to try to keep this in, and they won't be able to, so everybody's going to have to exit the zone. Nice move there by McGregor, who, as we like to say in hockey, could stick handle in a phone booth. Just about 5.5 minutes into the second period. Canada, on the strength of 6 first-period goals, leads by half a dozen. Hickey spins around, lofts a pass intended for Armstrong. A little high and a little hot. Canada has to regroup. Westlake feeds Dixon. Nice little right stick to left. Bringing it in is Lavin to the middle of the ice for Westlake. Canadians want to see him get one. Here's Dixon with a shot. Westlake fishes it out. Lavin pitching in from the point. He's got some room to skate. He snaps one that deflected wide. Japan really collapsing in around their goaltender. Thought we might see Ito trying to sneak out from time to time, but so hard with the speed of the Canadians. Here's Armstrong. Lofts a long one high and over top of the net. Ito does shovel it down the ice. They're going to wave this one off as Rob Armstrong goes back to get it. 3-time Paralympian out of Erin, Ontario, one of 9 Canadian players who's from the province of Ontario. It'll be shot in by Westlake, who fanned on it. He was disgusted with himself, so he heads right to the bench. I don't think so. He's got lots of things to feel good about, especially the way his team is playing and the way he's contributing. Here's Dixon. Leaves that one for Boyle, busting in with speed. He gets upended. Here's Lavin following up. Penalty coming against Japan. And now we had somebody take a whack at a stick lying on the ice, or something lying on the ice. This might be a broken stick. Here's that chance that Hickey had a while ago. Yeah, I was confused whether it hit the post or the goaltender got a piece of it, and I think both were true. Canada goes back to the power play. Just about halfway through the second period, Canadians back on the man advantage. It's Ishikawa in the box, a teeing penalty. There's a chance in front, and it'll be sent down the ice by Japan. Nishu thought he might have a path to get to it, but Liam Hickey had his focus on the puck, and nobody was going to get to it before he did. Here comes Hickey, still with it across the blue line. Lets it slide free for Dunn, drops it off for Dixon, and it's loose in front. Corey had an idea to reel it in, but he couldn't. McGregor makes a nice play to get it free for Dunn. Back to the point for Hickey. Here's Cozzolino. Creates a bit of room. Now he shoots, and he hits the pipe. That's the second time this period that Canada has rattled one off the goalpost. And their lead is still 6-0. They're on their fourth power play of the game. And they still have about a minute to work on it. Canada's sixth goal, the Dixon goal, was a power play goal. And the rest were all when the teams were at even strength. One was a 4-on-4 goal, but the rest of the Canadian attack has come even strength. Armstrong's going to take the puck after the face-off win. Canada, I think, doing a better job in this period winning the draws. That was one of the maybe few areas they had to clean up. Westlake goes after it. Second power play unit trying to organize here. Albert, you know he can shoot it. He's got a goal already in each game. Here's Boyley. He can really shoot it. He does! He scores! Boyley, lucky number 13. Wow, he has got some moves. Does Vincent Boyley out of Elma, Quebec in his Paralympic debut. Had 2 goals in his first game. And he scored 1 here in his second. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of the players who hit the pipe earlier. This one he makes sure, puts it right along the ice. Power play goal for Canada. The second unit does its job for the Canadians. Boyley at 8:44 of the second period, or 23:44 of the game in international timing. About 8 seconds left in that penalty, by the way, when that one went in. So Halbert and Armstrong are going to draw the assists on that one. Canada looking for more, though. Their lead is now 7-0. Kovacevic trying to fish the puck out from the Japanese player, Matsushita. It's going to be pushed up along the boards by Ishikawa, but Canada's going to keep it in. Pace is really slowed here. Japan's not really pushing the play. And another goal, Halbert again. Right through the wickets. Albert's second of the game. Now there's one that Horry would like to have back. No, it wasn't through the legs. It was kind of under the glove hand. And it was shot with some authority. It wasn't like an easy one. Less than a minute after Canada's first goal of the period, they get another one. What can you do? What can you do? It's quite an onslaught that Japan has been facing. Come again, looking for more. Here's Armstrong for Canada. Still holding. This is a pass in for Kovacevic. Spins away from a check. Nice play. Nice job by Horry there to sweep it away. It's still loose in front. And the Team Japan goaltender is going to hold on to it. Hori Wataru, 46 years of age. Had 27 saves on 30 shots in Japan's opening game. And he's faced 30 shots again in this one, but 8 have gotten by him this time. Well, you think about the 2 goal posts as well, at least 2. And this one could be in double figures already. Doesn't mean they're going to stop playing for keeps, though. This game is not for the faint of heart. Just about everyone who sees para ice hockey for the first time, that is what they are struck with, is how physical it is. You think of a guy like Liam Hickey. You saw him in his days playing wheelchair basketball. You just can't do that. Now, yes, it gets physical at times, and I love it, but you're not allowed to just absolutely blatantly smash into a guy who's got the ball, in that case, the puck in this case. Little black puck made of vulcanized rubber. This one is sent down the ice by Japan, and it looks like it's going to be an icing call. Will. 4:50 on the clock here in the second period rather. 15-minute periods in para ice hockey. One of the changes that is different from the Olympic Games. Of course, you've got teeing penalties. You won't have that at the Olympics, but you can see why with the way the sleds are made. But icing, offside, all of that the same. Here's James Dunn for Canada. Curls back with the puck, protects it well, gives it to Armstrong. He delivers a pass for Boyle. Drops it off for Dunn. Ahead for Armstrong. Dunn with a shot. It's by Horry. Can't see it. At the side of the crease, everybody battling. Here's Cozzolino with the loose puck. Cozzolino deals it back. It is going to be intercepted by Ito, but it is 1-on-3, and a good collision there. Lavin kind of took the will away from Japan's Nasu Norihiko. It's another thing that you use body checking for, is to take the man away from the puck and also to kind of take his will away in a certain extent to go forward on a certain play. He's going to know he's going to get hit hard. Yeah, you hope he changes his mind and redirects. Canada just keeps on coming, keeps on shooting. And if you missed us talking about earlier, there's Zach Lavin. He played forward in Canada's first game. He switched to defense in this game. He was trying to sneak that one by Horry on the ice, and it almost worked. Look top left of your screen beside the 8-0, 32-2, the shots on goal. Not a shot yet in this period for Japan. They have been overwhelmed by the Canadian attack. Here's Tyler McGregor, 2 goals in the game, the first 2. Pass swung across, centering attempt, Hickey with a chance. Here's McGregor again, dancing with it in behind the net. He'll bank it off the boards, comes to Jacobs Webb. He's trying to pinpoint a pass in the middle for McGregor. Didn't quite work. Hickey throwing his weight around in the corner. And that's going to come all the way back down into the Canadian zone. Albert, long feed for Hickey. He is being hounded by Kawahara, but he comes up and he's actually going to draw a penalty here. Canada's goaltender comes out for an extra attacker. Halbert drops it off for Lelev. Canada will try to maintain possession here. Here's Westlake. Halbert, Jacobs Webb. Whistle won't blow until Japan touches the puck. Here's McGregor. Jams on the brakes, looks for someone to feed it to, throws it in front. It'll be covered up by Horry. That'll do it for the whistle. So Canada got about 15 seconds or so of extra man-up time. Now Adam Kingsmill will head back to his net. Lelev might have had a good shot there. He tries to work it in for Hickey, who does get a chance out of it. Well, you love that active stick of the goaltender, Horry, but he's got to put those pucks somewhere else, if at all possible, if he's going to get a stick on it. Canada's 5th power play of the game. They are 2 for 4. Greg Westlake picks up the puck along the boards. Swings it across for Halbert. Drops it off for Westlake again. He tries to work it in the middle. It's going to come back to Canada. Armstrong. This is Boyle. Stick handling in. Never really got the opportunity he was looking for. It'll be sent down the ice. Kingsmill comes out of his net. Love the big stick that Adam Kingsmill uses. Some of the pair ice hockey players goaltenders use smaller sticks. But hey, why wouldn't you want it? The biggest one you're allowed. Here's Halbert. 2 goals in the game already for the defenseman. He'll drop it off for Armstrong. Across the blue line, Canadians stay onside. Armstrong surveys, feeds it for Halbert. He shoots, didn't miss by much. Jacobs Webb dishes it off from his side into the corner for Westlake. Greg Westlake coming out of retirement to play for Team Canada in his 6th Paralympic Games. Here's Hickey, he shoots, that's blocked. Westlake's gonna track it down again. Still 40+ seconds to work in the power play for Canada. Halbert curls back with it. Dishing off for Boyle. Cozzolino. Hickey. Dixon. Cozzolino. Batted away. Dunn's got it. Now onto the stick of McGregor. He hits the post. 3 goal posts in 1 period for the Canadians. So you look at that score and you say, hey, let's save those for another game when it's really tight. Say maybe against Czechia or USA or whoever. And yeah, those ones that went off the post, next time we want them to go off the inside of the post and then deflect in. Still 12 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Cozzolino in the face-off circle against Kumagai. 1. Back it goes to Dixon. Banks it into the corner for Dunn. Here's Hickey. Doesn't want to shoot it. Curls back. Swings it for Dixon. And Japan has killed off the penalty. Dying seconds now of the 2nd period. Here's Liam Hickey. Drops it back for Cozzolino. He shoots, he scores! Hat trick for Dominic Cozzolino. And Canada adds to the lead with seconds left in the 2nd period. Cozzolino just allowed to keep walking in. And poor Horry, the goaltender, he's just an onslaught. Cozzolino makes no mistake about it. At the 14:07 mark officially of the 2nd period. He's now got 4 goals in the Paralympic tournament. No hats have found their way onto the ice. We'd be okay with it if they did. It's not littering, it is part of the festivities. At least I didn't see any. Maybe someone found their way onto the ice. But after 2 periods of play, Canada, 3 goal posts and 3 goals in the 2nd period. They lead it 9-0 over Japan.
After 2 periods of play, the score is Japan 0, Canada 9.
Now you gotta feel, I think, a little bit for Hori Wataru, 46-year-old goaltender for Team Japan, has faced 37 shots in the game. He's made some nice saves, hasn't had a lot of help. His team has only managed 2 shots on goal and had none in that period. Well, Boyle scored. That was Halbert and Armstrong who set that one up. And Halbert got one of his own, then Cozzolino got one of his own. fact, that was his third of the game. Tyler McGregor's got a 4-point game going. Oren Halbert's got a 4-point game going. 3 for Cozzolino, including the hat trick. Well, I don't entirely know if that power play efficiency, maybe that was only the second period where Canada went 1 for 2, yeah. So there was one of the penalties that was taken. That allowed Canada to go on offense. Japan really trying to be physical in this game, and you love that. But off to the penalty box they went. And Boyle, after drawing the penalty, now there's, you can hear the iron. That was one of the ones that went off the iron. That was Cozzolino, so count that one. There's the one that's going to go in here. Boyle, instead of going high, he goes low, and that fools Horry. And that got the Canadians off and running in period number 2 after their impressive opening period. The ice was really slanted in that second period. Here's Halbert, that chance that he had from long range. Well, he scored from short range earlier in the game, and I have just been so impressed with this Paralympic rookie, Oren Halbert, out of Calgary, Alberta. How can you not be? Great shot, skates really well. That was Canada's third and final goal of the period. And all you can kind of do is smile just a little bit. But I think there was more coming. Tom Cozzolino. Let's get a couple of looks at that and a couple of looks at goaltender Horry. But after 2 periods of play, it's an impressive 9-0 lead for Canada. Just about time to drop the puck here for the third period of action between Team Japan and Team Canada. Pool B match. The five-time world champions from Canada against the team from Japan, which has won the B World Championships and has been a silver medalist at the Paralympic Winter Games going back 16 years in Canada, in fact, in 2010. But right now, this game has been all Canada so far. Scored 6 in the first period. McGregor, Cozzolino in order, Albert, and then Dixon. And then in period number 2, it was Boyle, Albert, and Cozzolino completing his hat trick. Japan's going to try to turn this into maybe a 5-minute, 3 5-minute sections, the coach might say to his players. See if we can win the first section, the first segment. Not going to be easy. It's not just about avoiding getting scored on, it's about creating a little bit of havoc in the opposition as well. Haven't really done that in this game to any extent, other than the opening seconds of the first period, maybe. Dixon, one of the 9 players on Team Canada from the central Canadian province of Ontario. Westlake is also from there. He's from Oakville, just outside of Toronto. Of course, if you're watching in Canada, you know all of this, but you might be watching just about anywhere on the planet. We're glad to have you. Milano Cortina 2026 para ice hockey at the Paralympic Winter Games. We think it's one of the most exciting sports on the planet. Team Canada, Team Japan, set to drop the puck for the third period. Canadians in white, Team Japan in black, and here we go. Albert busting down the wing. 2 goals already in the game for the defenseman. Flips one at the net just as his teammate goes crashing into the net, Westlake. And because of that, faceoff is going to come outside the blue line. That's how the nets are held on. There was a time in hockey where there was like a metal pipe that held the net in. And eventually, over time, it was realized that players were running into it and the net was never coming off. And that was causing more serious injuries than, say, that would have done, where it gives a little bit. Originally, they went with a kind of a magnet. It was called the magnet back in the day. The magnet, maybe. Now it's kind of a more plastic element. Racing call here. Shooting it from their side of center, probably for the 7th or 8th time in this game. They're using that as a tool to relieve the pressure. Mori Wakaro staying in net for Team Japan. Has now faced 38 shots in the game. Kovacevic. His shot deflected off Westlake and just wide. Hear the collective awe when he missed that one. Quite a contingent of Canadian fans. Pretty good number of fans from Japan as well, but a really good contingent of Canadian fans. Flip back in the corner. Canada comes back on offense, and we get another penalty coming here, and maybe another one after that. First one was going against Japan, and I think that's all we're getting from Czech referee Jan Vanek. So that was what Japan took a little bit of umbrage at. I think just the one penalty box door open, yep. You could argue that that play was, he had the puck or he was just passing the puck off, and then that would be an okay hit. Canada not going with its #1 power play unit. Not wanting to rub it in. They are going to move the puck around, and they are going to try to score here. Here's Albert. He might be trying to get a hat trick. Cuts right into the middle of the ice to get a shot, pass it off for Lavin. Makes a couple of nice moves. Here's Warren Halbert. He fires one over top of the net. Kovacevic goes after it, leaves it there for Westlake. Does well to avoid his teammate. Westlake dishes it back to the point for Lelev. He's picked up a point, an assist in his first game at the Paralympic Winter Games. He's going to risk one on net. Horry the save, can't gather in the rebound. And the puck's going to get pushed to the top of the circle, but not out. Now it will. Somebody's lost their neck guard. That's out on the ice, just inside the blue line. You might have seen it. Here comes Canada, right back in again. Halbert rips it in on the left side, centering pass that's going to be picked off by Japan, and they just can't clear the zone. Ito goes after it. He's got ample speed, but he pushes it too far ahead of himself, and Lavin's got it. 2 sticks on the ice. Here's Lelev. Stick is so important. It's not like in the standing game. You can't just keep on going. You gotta have your stick to propel you. There's a shot caught by Horry right in his glove. All right, if you've been watching this game for your life, you know this. But if you're new to it, you don't. And that is those sticks. On one end have a blade they can shoot with, and on the other end have a razor-sharp picks. That is how the players propel themselves on the ice. They've got 2 blades on their sled, about 3 centimeters or so apart. Here's Tyler McGregor, 2 goals in the game for him. He gives it to Dixon, dishes it back to McGregor. He fires one, that's blocked in front. Sudo, I don't know if he knew he blocked it, but he did. Here's Armstrong now. He'll bank it off the boards to the blue line for Liam Hickey. A couple of assists in the game for Hickey already. Still controlling. Penalty is over though. Armstrong. Here's Anton Jacobs-Webb, didn't miss by much. McGregor goes after it, does well to push the puck back for his teammate. That allows them to get some time and organize. Adam Dixon. Open ice for Hickey. He's lost his stick. It's an epidemic here in this third period. We've had about 5 stick droppings. There's been a wild stick dropping. It'll be sent out. And McGregor's going to head back in his own zone. The Canadian captain being watched by Ito. Nice play to just send it around for Dixon. Out to center ice. Hickey got just enough of it to negate the icing, and he and Jacobs-Webb get on their horses and race after it. Mazzolino couldn't come up with it. Ito had it, but's lost it. And here comes Liam Hickey. Feeds it to Lelev, breaking down the right side, tries the drop pass, almost picked off, and it is eventually, but they can't clear it. Lelev slides right in front of the Japan net, and Kumagai is going to get it to the blue line, but can't get it out. Just about 4.5 minutes gone by here in the third period. James Dunn in front, took the pass from Cozzolino, couldn't tee it up to shoot. And the Canadians will scurry back in their own zone. Matthew Lefebvre, the 20-year-old from Lévis, Quebec. And a huge collision there with Masa Kawahara. Kumagai pushes it right back to the Canadian blue line. Here is Kawagara. He was hoping that Nitsu could get on the end of this pass. He does. Good speed there by Nitsu. But he rams into the boards along with Albert. The loose puck fished out. Kumagai doesn't know where it is. It's in front of him. And it's Canada who has it. Boyle. Little dish ahead for Cozzolino. He'll get across center and just slide it into the Japan corner. Boyle goes after it. Absorbs a nice hit from Nitsu. The pass onto the stick of Cozzolino. Shakes off a check. Still with it. Cozzolino slides it back for Boyle. Across for Dunn. He scores! Wow, tic-tac-toe. Cozzolino, Boyle, Dunn. Boom, in the net. That is some impressive work. That's a little feed there from Dunn, or at least from Cozzolino to Boyle. And then Dunn goes quickly from right stick to left. There, that's the little toe drag I was talking about, the toe of the stick. And then Cozzolino uses his body to protect the puck, gets it to Boyle, he gets it to Dunn, and Bob's your uncle. It's in the net. That is so pretty. Of the third period is the time of the goal. James Dunn's first of this game, but his third of the tournament already. Dumped in by Westlake. Japan trying to relieve the pressure. They'll send it out to center. Lavin waiting there. Canada able to rest Tyrone Henry and Sean Burnett, who played in the first game of the tournament. With Lavin's flexibility and versatility that he can play both positions, that is huge. Kovacevic with a shot. .8:26 to go in the third period. 10-0, Canada leads. Canadian bench. Frank Westlake took a really hard hit. He'll get the treatment he needs as we see how the battle rages on the ice. The two number 7s. We talked about the equipment and how sharp those blades, those picks are. This was Westlake in the middle of that battle. Japan and their head coach Nakahita Kojin knows they have more battles to fight yet at these Paralympic Winter Games. A tight one in their first game, this one not so tight. There's one that's lofted on net, and Hori was happy to trap it. Japan started against Czechia and will finish against Slovakia. Those are the, along with Canada, 4 teams in Pool B. Face-off won by Canada. McGregor absorbs a hit, slides a pass to an open wing, and Japan's going to have a chance to clear it. Haven't yet. Now they do. Albert goes back for it. As well, really well to protect the puck. Here is Hickey, centering pass. It might have bounced in the net. It has. It's gone off. Kumagai into the net. And it is 11-0 Canada. can just see this puck. It deflects off of Japanese player. Pretty sure that was Kumagayet was. And he basically brings it into the net, and he can't believe it. I'm glad he's still smiling. Boris Rebelka maybe trying to recarve his lines a little bit because Greg Westlake has gone to the dressing room. And obviously concerned there. This has been a really rough game, actually. Japan has taken 6 minor penalties in this game. Not really something we think of when we think of them. They're just trying to stay in this one. Here's Boyle turning on the Jets. He brings it in on the left wing side. James Dunn goes after it. Back to the blue line it goes. Cozzolino shakes off a check. There's a chance. There's a shot by Boyle. And he didn't get all of it. Goaltender kind of like, as he was trying to think this was going up high, he managed to keep his stick on the ice. Watch the goaltenders, I don't want to call it flinching, he just kind of, he's lifting up, he's trying to make sure that the shot's high, he's got a little bit more of the net protected, and because of that, it almost sneaked underneath his stick. So we're just past the halfway point of the third period. Canada in control, 11-0 they lead over Japan. Lavin's gonna flip it into the corner. Here's Dunn. He's got one already in this period. Got the only goal of this period, in fact. Boyle in behind the net. Love the effort being shown here by the likes of Ukai and Japan. They're just hanging tough. Japan employed a little bit of a different strategy in their opening game. They had, well, now Ito's doing it again, actually. So he's lurking out near center ice. They're trying to kind of spread the Canadian defense, or offense rather. But Canada just keeps on pressuring, keeps on shooting shots at the net. That's their 46th shot on net, 47th now. Cozzolino, he shoots. So Ito, all this is, while this is happening, he is lurking out at center ice. James Dunn is kind of keeping an eye on him, but basically what it's doing is creating a 5-on-4 situation, and they're not getting pucks to him. Now 49-2 to shots. Nothing has been directed on poor Adam Kingsmill. It's the first period. He is lonely. The Maytag repairman. That's an inside joke if you don't know. You don't know, you don't know. Dixon flips it high in the zone. Racing after it goes Anton Jacobs-Webb. Matsushita pushes it around the boards. Canada first on the puck, though. The battle rages along the boards. And hard to see if Matsushita's going to be able to come up with it for his team. It is quite the battle. Jacobs-Webb fishes it out. Across the ice it goes. Into the middle. They score! Hat trick for Helbert. Now the Canadian fans are celebrating, but in an act of sportsmanship, you won't see any of the players on the ice even raise their sticks here. But we gotta tip our hat to Helbert. This man can really play. And he is establishing himself on this team. When you've got your defenseman getting hat tricks and doing all the things he needs to do in the defensive zone, you've got something brewing. Helbert. And now Hickey's with the puck. Kovacevic has it roll off his stick. Anton Jacobs picks up another assist. It looked maybe like there might be a threat from Japan, but Canada breaks it up. And here they come to center ice. Helbert, he wants more. Curls back with it. Got it spun around a little bit. Referee decides to let that one go with under 4.5 minutes to play. Drops it off for McGregor. McGregor protects the puck well, deals it back for Lelev. He's got some room, slides it in for Kovacevic. His shot stopped by Horry, and he's gonna hold on. I wouldn't be surprised if these Canadian players are trying really hard to get Kovacevic a goal in his Paralympic debut. They made it 12-0. Japan still has important games left to play at this Paralympic tournament. Even though this will be a bit of a disheartening one. We're going to have a really important game to decide third place in the pool. They're going to play against Slovakia. Then, if they get third, they'll play the fourth place team from the other pool. If they end up fourth, they'll play the third place team from the other pool. And then we've still got the fifth and seventh place games to decide things. That is all ahead yet in this tournament. Canada fans won't be having to worry about the 7th and 8th place games. And they're about 4 minutes and 12 seconds confirming that they're going to make the semifinals. Top 4 teams, top 2 in each pool, make it to the semis. Here's Armstrong. Here's Boyle. Works it in front. There's a shot. They score again. And it's done. Done and dusted. Goals tonight in this game, 2 goals in the first game. Now these players this time around are really showing how many different ways you can shoot the puck. There was a time when the sleds didn't really allow you to shoot underneath them, but now you can shoot underneath your sled and underneath your opponent's sled. Horry just couldn't believe that found its way in behind him. Boyle and Armstrong pick up the assists. Anton Jacobs-Webb. He has had a heck of a game so far for Canada as a playmaker. And the hits continue though. Here's Kovacevic, tries a sharp angle shot that went off the side of the net. Lavin for Canada. In the battle again along the boards with Murasaki. And the referee's going to blow it down. Well, pretty balanced attack by Team Canada tonight. Oren Helbert has been absolutely breathtaking. 3 goals and 3 assists for the young Canadian in his second game in his Paralympic debut. Debut games, that is. Boy, 3 goals and 3 assists for a defenseman. That is something else. By the way, he's a +7 in this game. Ito racing after it. Guess who shuts him off? Helbert. right in front of his home net. That might have made you a little nervous. If you're a Team Canada fan, if you're a Team Japan fan, it might have made you a little excited. Canadians head back on offense again. Kovacevic is going to bring it down the right side. Dishes it off. Boyley was trying to get to it. Now Dunn's got to it. Steered away by Horry. 52 shots on goal for Canada in this game. They're leading it 13-0. Inside of 2.5 minutes to play, third period. An absolutely dominant effort by the team in white. You can't see him on the screen, but Ito is lurking out at center, but it won't matter because Canada keeps on keeping on. And Helbert's got his 4th goal of the game and his 7th point. You can see on the top of the screen, Ito is lurking out at center ice, which would be great if Japan could get him the puck. But they haven't been able to, so instead, you've got essentially a power play by Canada, 5-on-4 in the offensive zone. Some of the other teams have chosen to stay with Ito and sort of take one of their players out, so then it's kind of a 4-on-4 in the zone. Canada has trusted their players and decided not to go chasing after number 10. Well, if you've been a fan of the standing hockey game for a long time, you might remember a player like a Pavel Bure who had absolute breakout speed and could break down a defense. Just some of the battles that we see in this game. Albert can do it all. Offense, defense, scoring, playmaking. And Lelev, impressive. Everybody wide awake and bright-eyed except for one. Only one. The only person in the house who has decided that he knew his team was on its way to victory. Japan had just taken a timeout there, trying to regroup, hey guys, let's have a strong final couple of minutes. We've got more important hockey to come. Let's not hold our heads low. And here's Kovacevic trying to beat Horry. And he's going to shut him down. Well, in case you missed us talking about it earlier, Nakakita Kojin, the head coach of Team Japan, actually has a history of playing in Canada. Played at Notre Dame High School in Saskatchewan. Which, among others, Wendell Clark, Slater Cuckoo. There's a few names for you. Maybe I think more National Hockey League players went through there. Here is Armstrong for Canada. Surveys the scene, works it back to Kovacevic. It's going to come out to center. Ito was lurking, but Lavin just calmly takes it away. He's going to be able to pick up his own pass, but he couldn't find the left stick. And he's slammed into by Ito, but he absorbs it well. Under 90 seconds to play in this game. Canada with an absolutely dominating lead. Really just trying to work on things, get the passing going. Maybe get some players scoring who've never scored before. Kovacevic is going to pick up the puck. Dishes it back for Dixon. A little concern though in the Canadian camp with Greg Westlake leaving the game and leaving the bench early. While all this is going on, Japan's playing with 4 defenders because Ito is lurking out at center. So here is where play that you might like to see him pick this up. He wasn't expecting to have to go all the way across the ice, and the Canadians knew how to deal with him. Here's Dixon. Sends it hard off the wing. That was the right play to Kovacevic. Tries to jam on the brakes, taken away by Ukai. We're in the final 15 seconds now. It has been a Canadian domination in this game. Tyler McGregor scored 39 seconds after we dropped the puck. Kovacevic trying to score here, and the last shot is going to go up and over top of the net. So McGregor got it started, Halbert finished it off, and inside of that, it was a super impressive win for the men of the Maple Leafs. Halbert with an absolutely dynamite game, 7 points and a +8, the Canadian defenseman. 14-0 is the final score. Canada over Japan.
Japan 2, by Team Canada 56. Per un totale del match di Giappone 2, Canada 56.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but 56-2, the final shots on goal in this game.
Let's give both teams a round of applause for their outstanding efforts throughout this game. And congratulations to the winning team, Team Canada! Rivolgiamo un grandissimo applauso ad entrambe le squadre.
Coach Nakakita is well respected.
E congratulazioni alla squadra vincitrice, il Canada!
They might well be on a collision course with the United States again, but that remains to be seen. But right now, Canada is 2-0, coming off an impressive 14-0 victory over Japan. And there she is, Akari Fukanishi. Didn't get a chance to skate in this one tonight, but was stressed in the game. And we are just jumping at the bit to get women's para ice hockey in the program of the Paralympic Winter Games. Might be next time, it might be in 34, but it is coming. Nice to see that respect there with Adam Kingsmill going over and giving a full-on hug to Morty. Japan appreciates the support they've been given in Milano. To see the effort painted onto the face of Kumagai. Wow, what a game it was for Aaron Halbert. What a performance he has put on in his 2 games. This Paralympic tournament in Milano Cortina. A 7-point performance tonight for him. Ishikawa, one of the veteran players on Team Japan, who was a silver medalist in Vancouver back in 2010.
All spectators with a clean and environmentally friendly venue. Please assist us by placing all unwanted rubbish and waste items in the disposal area provided. Thank you. I Giochi Paralimpici Invernali di Milano Cortina 2026 desiderano offrire a tutti gli spettatori un ambiente pulito ed ecosostenibile. Aiutateci smaltendo i rifiuti e gli oggetti.
Sometimes it's all about the goaltenders. A tough one tonight for that man. Canada scores twice on 6 power play opportunities. Wins 56% of the faceoffs and does not allow a shot on goal in the second and third periods. And in the end, they win it by a score of 2-0. Pool Group A has US and China on top, but this Group B has Canada and Czechia on top.